he'd crossed through the crime scene. But roads often branch off. If he continued walking along this route, look. He would have been able to reach his flat without ever crossing through the crime scene. Yeah, but the books are. Trying to argue with the poor clown's rubbish, musing, is boorish at best, but it is my duty. Most people would call that a very roundabout way of walking home. Huh? Remember that we're in the dead of winter. Why would one choose such a long detour? Long? Oh please, it's hardly. Well, you see, the answer couldn't be any more obvious. You wouldn't take the long road home. It's not even much longer. Our criminal took the simplest route home, and his knife took the simplest way into her back. But you have to understand, because, oh, I've got it now. How can you accuse him of that when you haven't even asked him? If that's your answer, then I'm sure you must have asked him already. Nope. And his answer, I'm sure, was simply, I don't remember. The defendant said he is always wandering aimlessly through the city, lost in thought. He claims that he was wandering home as always, so he doesn't remember clearly. Well, there's the answer. Come on. Give me something to work with. Oh, of course, now he bows. That's enough. I don't think we want or need any more aimless arguments in this court. What would your opinions be, wise citizens of the jury? But even if he did take that route, as his attorney, if I could just hold it. Oh, whoa. Regarding Lord Van Zeek's statement just now, we 6 jurors unanimously agree. What? This can't be happening. As of now, we have come to one firm, unshakable conclusion. Yeah, that's not true though. Very well. Now, 6 jurors, the time has come. You've made your deliberations, present your verdict to the court. Oh! Oh, that's cool! Wow. All at once. Oh man, that's even cooler than before. Well, it's hit guilty. Seems the jury has reached a unanimous conclusion. Not again! Our sage citizen jurors and their brave resolve are the pride of the Great British Empire. Naruhodo. Closing argument. It's already time for one. Jesus. I'm not done yet. This still isn't over. This is my final chance to persuade the jurors. I have to tip those huge scales. It's time for a grand turnabout. No matter what it takes, I have to do this. The fire in your eyes tells me that you have yet to concede defeat. Don't tell me you plan to parade your rights around this courtroom again. Your so-called right, forgotten in some dark mouldy corner of the British legal code. No matter how much you complain about it, every attorney has the right to call for a closing argument, and I'm doing just that. Yeah! Then from this point forth, in accordance with the rights prescribed by our legal code, the closing argument will now begin. Jurors, are you prepared? You should know the answer to that already, my lord. That attorney doesn't know when to give up. We all know that. Yeah, that certainly sounds like... well, it doesn't sound like Oscar, but it looks like him, and he's talking like he's... not witnessed, but been on the receiving end of Naruhodo not giving up. Very well then. 6 jurors. State your reason and basis behind your guilty verdict. And also one of them's Joan. Pretty sure. Judicial findings. The murderous Jap has already said it himself. A lady in a green coat just fell over. Who else but the victim could that be? There's no reason he would have taken such a long route home from the bookshop. So basically that guy just stabbed her right in the back. Ah, so scary. Look, I don't even care. Just get this over with. I'm ready for the verdict. Tattertail's Book Emporium is a great shop. The Ragged Reader? Not so much. Okay. With some small exceptions, the reasons behind their guilty verdicts are clear. When the incident occurred, only the accused and the victim were present. Besides, the accused said it himself. He has admitted that he saw the fallen woman in the green coat. Furthermore, the defendant fled from the scene right after. It certainly sounds like enough basis for a guilty verdict to me. Even the judge agrees with their findings. Why did you have to run away from the scene, Suzuki? Seriously, an invisible criminal? Not even I can believe that. Ugh. See if you can walk a mile in my shoes. Naruhodo, now isn't the time to cry over spilled milk. There's only one way for you to continue this trial. Yeah, I know. I have to turn their verdict on its head. I need to convince at least 4 jurors. Yes, that's correct. Let's try to be positive now. Okay, so now, attorney, begin your closing argument. Yes, sir. I have to keep this trial moving no matter what. Stop at nothing, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Alright. Like how Gregson's just stood him back with his fish and chips. The defense's rebuttal. I'm gonna press him because he doesn't say anything really useful. What's with your attitude? A man's life is on the line here. Shut it. If I don't get to work pronto, it'll be my life on the line. A fancy pants lawyer like you wouldn't get it. I do manual labour, and I get paid by the day. If I take so much as one day off, I won't be able to feed my wife and kid. Got it? Yeah. That sounds tough. Every day I show up at the guild, and they give me a job, first come, first serve. Lately all the underground water and gas pipes have been rupturing, see? I'm paid peanuts to work morning till night, digging up roads and fixing pipes. Then... does that mean you were digging on the day of the crime, as well? Of course I was. Come to think of it. That day I was working in the neighbourhood where that musty old bookshop is. What? Could this be it? Yeah, let me think. Mayshore Road was the name, I think. Right, yeah, that's the road to the north. That's one of the roads on this map. Juror 5, please change your judicial finding to that statement. How about you just wrap up this little game instead? Please, I'm begging you. Fine, I'll do it. Oh! I wonder if we could pose that because there was construction going on the road, he wouldn't have been able to walk that way around, maybe? Oh, there we go. There's no reason, but there is a reason. There was construction. There. I think. So there'd have been a reason for him to go the long way around. Let's see. There's a clear contradiction between these two statements. What contradiction? Explain yourself. Hey, why is he pointing at me? Oh, what now? Hurry up and get this over with. Juror 3, might I have a word with you? Oh, sure, what is it? There's an important fact in Juror 5's statement. Here, let's compare what was said with the map. On the day of the crime, Suzuki bought books at this used bookshop. Now, on this day, Mission Road was being dug up due to construction. In other words, the defendant would not have been able to travel this road to return home. Hey! Oh, why you're right. What do you say to that, Juror 5? What? Well, I guess he's right. So the bricks in the road were smashed and the road was dug up about 2 yards across. Those hoity-toity ladies and gentlemen took the long way around instead. Then that means, in order to get back to his flat, the defendant would have been forced to take the long way. So it would seem. Does it really? Juror 3, you said the following. There's no reason he would have taken such a long route home, but now you see. We have just established that he had ample reason to do so. You're right. My lord, may I have a word? Yes? What is it? Perhaps I have been a bit hasty in my decision. I think that we should continue this trial a little longer. Hey! Go on down. What are you waiting for, Juror 5? Huh? Oh, me? Fine then. I dug up this hole and I'm gonna fill it. And there he goes. You did it, Naruhodo. That was incredible. Their decisions have changed, and with that, the whole situation has turned around. Yes, now all of the jurors will have to reconsider their stances. It's extremely important that they really think about whether they feel their verdict is just. And one more thing. If there are any more clues that could clear up the suspicion around Tosuke, then you can use this momentum to overturn the verdict. Right, I'll give it a try. Prosecutor Van Zieks is trying to bring this trial to a hasty end. I'll do whatever it takes to keep that from happening. Now, defense, resume your closing argument. Yes, my lord. Alright. Oh, there we go. We have to keep this trial going, so I'm going to vote not guilty. Be it a road or a trial, I gotta make sure no holes are left unfilled. Tattletale's Book Emporium is a great shop, the Ragged Reader, not so much. Press. He doesn't really say much about the verdict. Huh? I'm sorry, could you say that one more time? All I said was hold it. Do you often visit Tattletale's Book Emporium? I go there to browse old books and then I read them at home while I sip old tea. That's my life. That day was no different. On the day of the incident, do you remember what time you went to Tattletale's? I was looking at books all afternoon, then I left the shop a little before 5 o'clock. That's my life. That day was no different. 5 o'clock in the afternoon? That's right when she was stabbed. You're absolutely sure that you have the right time? I'm sure. I remember it like it was 3 days ago. At any rate, I had a really tough time that day. What do you mean? A narrow footpath on Calabash Road was frozen over. The snow had only just stopped falling on the pavement, and I fell smack on the ground. Oh! I was knocked out cold. I thought I saw the Holy Mother beckoning me. Hold on a second. Did you say Calabash Road? Yep. My house is on Cornpipe, see? That narrow little footpath is the quickest way home from Tattletale's. Juror 6, that statement might be important. Change your judicial findings to that statement, please. Sorry, Sonny. Could you say that again? So Naruhodo, 2 jurors have changed their verdicts. All we need to do... Not all we need is to convince 2 more, right? Just like before. Strike with all your might and turn them on their heads. Maybe I should have her teach me the scissors toss for this one. Okay, so... It's you. A lady in a green coat just fell over. Oh, it wasn't a lady! I nearly pressed. Clash. Okay. That evening I fell smack down on Calabash Road. There's a clear contradiction between these 2 statements. What contradiction? Explain yourself. Excuse me, Juror 2 and Juror 6. Oh, yes, what is it? Great. I don't think the elderly gentleman heard you. Seriously? I put everything I had into that shout. Anyway, one fact has become abundantly clear. As shown on the receipt from the used bookshop, the defendant bought books from Tattered Tales and walked home from there. Didn't he say that he couldn't remember what road he took home that day? Yeah, so it would seem. But on the way home, the defendant did see one person. A person wearing a green coat suddenly fell flat in the snow on the footpath. Right, and that person must have been the woman who was stabbed. Wrong. But is that really the right conclusion? But what are you on about? Were you listening to what Juror 6, the old man over there, said? On the night of the incident, Viridian Green wasn't the only one. There was another person wearing a green coat who fell on the pavement. Oh. You don't mean to imply... I do. That person was... our hearing-impaired 6th juror. Then that means... the person in the green coat that the defendant really saw wasn't the victim. Was that jaunty old man in green? I would say that it's highly probable. After all, that old man has a similar body shape to the victim. Ooh. What in the world? Huh? What was that? Could you speak a little louder? Anyway, what's important here is the location where the old man fell. Calabash Road. If the person who fell in front of the defendant was really that old man, then that would mean that Sosuke must have taken the long way home. And there's one natural conclusion to come from that. There's no way that he could have passed through the scene of the crime. Oh! Well, there's that. Hi, old man. What were you doing, bumbling around a place like that? What's more, he just had to wear that confusing green coat. What's the big deal? Are you saying an old man like me can't bumble around town and slip on a few roads? I can't dress myself up in the latest trendy dapper coats? Oh my god. What the hell? Oh, of course. Pardon me, my lord. I don't suppose you wish to revise your verdict? I do. I'm changing my verdict to not guilty. Juror 2? Then I am too. Huh? Even if it's just because I want to try turning the tables too. Yeah! Oh my. There we go. The juror's verdict has been overturned. The juror's verdict has changed as a result of the defence's closing argument. No, 2 vote guilty and 4 not guilty. Thus, the court acknowledges that the juror's vote is split, and orders you all to continue the trial. Yeah! He's gonna smash it. I think. Maybe. Maybe not. Yep. How impudent of me to tip this holy grail after raising an objection in these halls of justice. and they go on to shatter it to pieces. I plead your forgiveness. Prosecutor Van Zeeks. I suppose I must revoke my earlier words. What are you talking about? The jurors lined up over there cannot be called wise by any stretch of the imagination. How can they be wise when they have fallen so readily for a Jap's cheap deceptions? What's that supposed to mean? What deception? Everything I said was fact. On the day of the crime, that large man was repairing the road. Correct. According to him, a 2-yard wide section of the road had been removed for construction. Damn right, I worked myself to the bone that day. I nearly got 5 shillings for it. So, exchange student, or Japanese exchange student, do you know how roughly how long 2 yards would be? Huh? Well, I'd say, to be honest, I have no clue. Not really that big. Seems that 2 yards is just under the length of 2 meters. I thought they said mattresses. Just under 2 meter? That's shorter than I thought. As such, one will be able to leap across the missing road. Does the man himself disagree? Huh? No. That sounds about right. What? And during the construction, did you seal off the road in order to prevent passage? No, of course we didn't. With a hole in the road this big, all the stuck-up ladies and gents would just take a detour. But the inner city kids wouldn't give it a hoot. They just lump over it, or jump over it. Fuck, I can't read. As far as I can see, the defendant is neither lady nor gentleman. It's natural to assume that he would make a 2-yard leap to return home. Ah. Is that true? And remember, the defendant dropped his books at the crime scene. There's absolutely no doubt that he passed through Briar Road on his way home. He's got a point. And you, old man. Huh? Me? On the day of the crime, around 5 o'clock, you had fallen over on Calabash Road. At the time, did you notice any suspicious Japanese figures behind you? Well, who knows? I can't say I remember. You don't remember? Feel free to bet it all on this argument, attorney. Do you think the person the defendant saw was this old man? You have no way of proving it. Ugh. No! Order. Sir Van Zeeks, if I may. What is it, my lord? You had such a persuasive argument. Why did you stand and watch in silence during the closing argument? Huh. Obviously, our beloved exchange student is still seeing the sights. What would be more fitting than the sight of how fickle the jurors' hearts can be? Wow, douche. But I suppose that's enough hospitality. Off comes the cape. This is the end of your London sightseeing for today, attorney. What are you saying now? My lord. The prosecution requests that the next witnesses be brought to the stand. Of course, bailiff, bring the witnesses into the courtroom. The next witnesses? Naruhodo, you've heard about a witness to the crime a few times now. Yeah, I think they said it was an officer from Scotland Yard. One of the next witnesses must be that officer. No matter who the witness, no matter what the testimony, I will continue to believe in you, Susuke. I'll keep believing in you until the very end of this battle. Okay. What the hell? Go on, witnesses, your names and occupations. Was he asleep? The name's Patrick O'Malley. I'm a patrolman on the city beat. And I'm Rollo O'Malley, the wife of our city's greatest hero, or great hero. They look like kids. Is everything alright? Absolutely, you see, the two of us were just married. Just the other day, we had our first wedding anniversary. Oh, not that. Sorry, I meant your husband. His exhaustion is understandable. Being a constable of London is one of the most noble yet demanding duties in the world. Is that so? I feel like I've heard this before. Apart from off-duty days, every day is spent patrolling 20 miles around the city on foot. Patrolling local establishments, collecting taxes, surveying roads, inspecting the scales, cleaning the roads, filling the gas lamps, and extinguishing the lamps are all part of the job. Those are a lot of duties that seem unbefitting for the police. Rather than doze off, I'd probably collapse before long. Of course, the constable's most vital duty is the pursuit and suppression of crime. Even if he's off duty, if a crime occurs in his beat, he must assist in the investigation. Such is the proud spirit of the London Constabulary. He certainly seems tired, though. On the day of the crime, this couple was walking on the opposite side of Briar Road. It was at this point that they witnessed the incident. Is this correct so far, witnesses? Yes, it is. Right, darling? Patrick O'Malley, patrolman on the city beat. Oh, jeez. Very well. The court orders the two of you to testify. Testify regarding what you witnessed on the evening of the crime. Sir. Okay. What we witnessed. That night was our anniversary. We went out for dinner, still in uniform. As we were strolling along, we saw two figures coming down the opposite path. And all of a sudden, one of them fell over. The other dropped something and ran away. We hurried as fast as we could to the nearest police box to call for help. That Japanese man is the one who ran away. Pat and I both saw it with our own eyes. Bloody Pat. Now this is a decisive testimony. The officer's wife claims to have clearly seen Suzuki's face. If what they say is the truth, then the possibility we presented in the closing argument would be outright disproven. Indeed. After all, such an absurd possibility was non-existent to begin with. This must have been quite the ordeal for your first anniversary. It was, but I thank the Lord... Oh god. But I thank the Lord that we could have a night out together in the first place. I suppose being a constable in London is an ordeal in and of itself. Worry not. This testimony will soon be over, and then you will be able to spend the day at your leisure. And what's that supposed to mean? This lovely couple clearly saw the face of the man who fled the crime scene. And the face was that of none other than Suzuki Natsume. Yeah, but they didn't see the incident. I don't believe I need to remind you of the weight that a London officer's words carry. Even though it was the officer's wife who said every single word. With that said, I suggest you prepare yourself for defense. Oh, I can't stop yawning. God, it sucks. Of course. It's the bloody heat, I tell you. It's too hot. Cross-examination. What we witnessed. That night was our anniversary, we went out for dinner, still in uniform. Brass. We were still in uniform, then does that mean you're with the police too? Nope, it's a shame, but women, children and the elderly can't be police in London. Is it really a problem that children and the elderly aren't police? You know, the uniform looks so good on Pat, right darling? Yeah. At the time, I had just finished up for the day. So we were planning to stop by the station and change clothes before heading out again. It's kinda scary how suddenly he started giving proper testimony. I would have been okay with you staying in uniform, though. When you change clothes, suddenly it's like I don't even know you. That was a very dangerous piece of testimony. Anyway, you two were getting ready to go to dinner after he finished work. Yeah, really, I was completely exhausted after a full day of patrolling. However, I swear, I'm ready and willing to do whatever it takes to live up to this. What is that? This is our secret police handbook, held only by the Patrolmen of London. Inside we have the great things to know as a constable. A constable patrols the city, working tirelessly so that the citizenry may know peace. And that is why I never tire, even when I'm patrolling 20 miles a day. If all it takes to help the people is to wander around the city, then by God I will wander. I don't think you're supposed to wander. I just wanted that one single day to be peaceful so that we could celebrate our anniversary. I'm always leaving her alone because work is so busy, my poor beloved Roller. Don't know what the fuck I thought her name was. Roller, my love, Pat, my sweet, oh my god. Give me a bucket. Oh, how lovely. Their love is so pure. It's a little annoying too. Well then, what happened while you were walking? So is this statement 2 or 3? Oh, 2. As we were strolling along, we saw 2 figures coming down the opposite path. You saw 2 people? Yep, they were walking towards us on the footpath by Briar Road. There was this big roly-poly person, and behind the fatty there was a tiny little guy. Okay. Shouldn't we talk about Sesuke and the victim? Yeah, the victim does look pretty plump. Are you absolutely sure that nobody else was present on the footpaths? Yes, sir. It was getting dark out, so the gas lamps were lit. Nobody else was there, right, darling? Oh, God. Huh? Right. There was a bit of fog, but Briar Road's footpaths are dead straight, so visibility was pretty high regardless. Since the gas lamps were lit, we wouldn't have missed anyone lurking about. Answer this next question before you fall asleep again. Are you absolutely sure? Absolutely sure, sir. As a constable on the watch for crime, I declare that I'm sure. My conviction is almost as strong, oh my god, as my love for Roller. Oh my god. So the victim and the criminal were the only ones on Briar Road at the time. I guess that's the undeniable truth. It certainly seems as though there was nowhere for the assailant to run to. Well, Sesuke was able to get away, but then he got caught anyway. The situation just before the crime took place has been made absolutely clear. Now, what happened next? Then all of a sudden, one of them fell over.